Mr. Matrix, welcome back. Our first preview of the NRL season. Oh, Jesus. Hello. You've got the ball and all hat on. They arrived.
Hey, it did. Yeah, I didn't know. It's gold-plated on the back.
Yeah, no, they're good. They're good. They're good cabs.
No.
Does it fit? Does it fit?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Are you happy with your selection?
Mate, I was walking around the block this afternoon and people saying, Jesus, that's a pretty snazzy hat.
Oh, they would have known of us. They would have been listeners. Were they in the tipping comp, these people you ran into?
Yeah, most of them were magpies, but anyway.
Oh, fuck, okay.
We'll have a few magpies in the tipping comp.
We will, yeah. Anyway. I've got my beanie on, just in reference to the winter is coming, the footy season is coming, winter sports are back. It is go time. We have there's 4 games on Sunday in Vegas, but there's 2 that we're going to preview that we're pretty excited about. It's unbelievable, fantastic. Every other bloody word you want to use, which is it's just so good to have the footy back. Trials are done, forms out the door, our ratings are done. Just on that, let's bring the listeners up to speed. If you haven't listened to all our previews, I think we pretty much agreed. So I'm happy to run with probably the only one we didn't agree with is I think I had the Dragons sneaking into 8th. But I think apart from that, we pretty much agreed, didn't we?
Yeah, our top 6 was the same.
Okay, so rattle off the top 6, how we see it for the year.
Okay, so I'm Storm, top of the table, then the Broncos, Panthers, Sharks, Sea Eagles, Bulldogs.
Yep.
I've got the Dolphins finishing 7th. I've got the Cowboys finishing 8th.
Yeah, so my only difference, I had the Dolphins, is I had the Dragons in 8th.
Now, in terms of a rated position, I've got, the best part of a 4% gap from the Storm to the next clump.
Yep.
The top 6, then I've got a gap down to the Dolphins, the Cowboys. I then have the Roosters, the Rabbits falling significantly. I don't think either will make the 8. And I certainly think both are in, obviously, for tough seasons. Rabbitohs picking up some really key injuries in the last week, but prior to that, the Roosters I was dead against. I think that they're in a season of pain. And there's a big clump of sides that I think are all going to be competing with each other about whether they finish, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. And that's, the Eels, the Warriors, the Knights, the Titans, the Dragons, the Raiders, the Tigers. All of them are going to swap around with each other in those roles.
And I think it's fair to say we both agree that we are calling this as probably the tightest, closest comp under the NRL banner. So under the NRL banner, meaning, a salary cap era, probably ever.
Yeah, I think anywhere down to about the top 12, that's certainly the case.
Do you think there could be a bit of a gap to that next 4?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a tail. I found it difficult to improve the Tigers, even though that I think they've also got some losses as well as their gains, and I'm yet to be convinced that the coach can coach defence. I'm on the fence about where the Raiders might end up, where the Knights might end up, whether the Warriors have got the depth. I think they're starting 17 to 19 is good, but they're going to pick up injuries. And as I said, I think the Roosters are on a big slide. Not sure how much the Rabbitohs can recover. So, looking ahead, my long-term play I've been mentioning for weeks has been the Storm for the minor premiership. When I first started backing them, they were $4. We mentioned them a couple of weeks ago at $3.40, then $3.20, they're now $3. So the Storm, there's been people all over them. $3.40 for them to win the premiership. It's my only longer-term play. Around that, I thought the Dolphins can have a good season. I still think that there's some market disparity about their price at $3.20. And I'm against the Roosters. I think they're in the bottom 4. And I've also spec'd the Tigers for the bottom 4. I think they might improve. Not sure that they're out of the bottom 4, though. Okay,
well, that's a good wrap. But more importantly, we've got a tipping comp.
Have we? What?
Yeah, it's hotting up. Like right here, right now, this preview, which we're doing Thursday afternoon. So there's still Thursday evening, Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning up until 10 a.m. to enter our tipping comp. We are just touched over 150 entries. We want to get to 200. At 200, it gives us a pool of $8,000. Every cent goes back to participants in the form of first, second, third of the season-long tipping comp. Probably looking at, if we get 200, it'll be the best part of $2,000 to the winner of the last man standing, which I would think probably will get paid out in the first 6 to 8 weeks of the competition, maybe less. And then we're going to put aside, again, if we get 200 entries, we're going to put aside 4 $500 cash bonuses for one person if they pick the round by themselves. So 4 times. Now, if that doesn't eventuate, which it quite likely might not, that will just go back into the pool of first, second, third. There will be no admin fees. There's nothing. We are taking nothing out of this. We're out of pocket. It's probably cost us the best part of $1,500 to get this website cranking, but it's going to be cranking for years to come, and we want to build this community. So if you haven't, enter, get your tips in.
Well, I think the other key thing too is anybody that's played in these tipping comps and or tried to run them, if you use this software or any of the software that's available, which we've ended up getting embedded into a web page on the website, it's going to cost us $8 a person just to have them playing. And then we've got all the other costs. But we want to build, as you've suggested previously, a good, fun tipping comp, a good community around having some fun and banter. It's all cash prizes. We've got some wonderful sponsor support, notably the Station Grocer, who are helping us cover some of those costs. And it's rare that you can end up with a tipping comp where you got 3 in 1. You can run first, second, and third, pick up some really good prizes. You can go in the winner takes all. I reckon that we'll run that at least twice this season, Stephen.
That would be good.
You could end up. You could be running in the bottom 10 of the table by the middle of the season, but still be putting your tips in, jag 8 out of 8, and pick up $500.
100% you could. And and I think the other thing that we will do, especially if we get to 200, if we're north of 175, we'll do this. We will give $100 and 3 bottles of wine from one sponsor that has jumped on board today, Wine Arm, quality wine sourced out of the Barossa mainly, to the best name. Can you throw us some names? I'm not privy to them at the moment. Can you throw up some of the last? Say, let's throw up some of the better ones today. The best name. Righto, let's go.
Oh, I'm laughing as I read them. Joel Monahan's dog.
Joel Monahan's dog, right? Yeah.
Oh dear. We've got Charlie from Bali. We've got Wawa. We've got Chiphead. Good old Chiphead. Mick, the 1967 Sharks. Well, thankfully for Mick, they've won one since then. There's some crackers. Magic Man. We've got Proud to be a Bulldog. Bobby Bulldog. Sean Cliff Snakes. Riff Raff from the Riff. There's some crackers. There's some very clever ones. Just put the tip in. There's some very funny ones in there.
Joel Monahan's dog. That's got to be. That's up there. I think Cookie Monster's a good one. That's up there.
Yes.
What are a couple of the other ones you named the other day? There was a few other good ones.
Show us your tips.
Show us your tips. Yeah, righto. That's definitely up there.
We've got the Coach Whimperer and we've got the Coach Whisperer.
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is going to be hard.
Yeah, it is. It is. And as we speak, I just got a message literally 10 minutes ago from a mate of mine who's in Vegas who forgot to enter and he can't send the money, so I've chipped in for him. But, we've got him in Vegas watching what we're doing and entering the comp. So
how good's that?
They're jumping out of trees, literally.
Yep. So let's get to 200. Then we would have reached our goal, increased on the NRL community that we're trying to build, and we'll have the weekly podcast with our previews, our best bets. Condo's multi. I'm doing a lot of work on my multis each week.
That's right. So what we're also going to do, you and I are going to have $100 bet each every Thursday. You're going to have a bet for the men's mental health charity that you guys so well support on the Northern Rivers.
I'll find something down here that will fit that bill. Yep, definitely.
And I'll have a $100 bet for Pass It On Clothing, who I've been supporting for the last 6 or 7 years, who do amazing work for the unfortunate and homeless of the streets of Sydney. You and I will track that. So we've got a $100 bet to make each week. We'll keep a little record of that as the season ticks over as well.
Oh, this is idea. Oh, this is good. This is good. Righto, I like that. You've kept that one. You've kept that one very quietly. Righto. Well, let's get into the weekend. So it all kicks off 11 a.m. on Sunday. This is the NRL games, but it's a full day of rugby league if you want to watch all 4 games. But we're going to preview the 2 NRL games. 11 o'clock on Sunday is the first one that kicks off. And then there's a bit of a hiatus until the second game. But first game, let's go. Get straight into it, Jared.
Well, I think we can make money between the 2 NRL games, but we'll get to that a little bit later in the podcast. Listen, the first one, we've got the Warriors on the road all the way over to the US playing the Canberra Raiders, who end up coming up as a home team. The market marked this 1.5. It's pushed out to 2.5. I marked it 3.5. Listen, it's very difficult, these first games. We're not sure what we've seen and what either bring. And I think the other big risk is, teams on the road all the way to the other side of the world, how they come up, how they train, what their attitude's like. We've already seen that there's been a bit of mucking about and a bit of fun to be had amongst the Raiders. You just wonder whether that's reflective of what's going on, whether that, I don't think it derails them, but whether there's complacency or concentration. I think one of the other key factors for mine was the Warriors have had a very good record against the Raiders, won 5 of their last 8. They've also covered the line 7 of the last 12 times that they've played the Raiders. So a good head-to-head record, a good record.
Was that a last 11 out of 12?
7 of the last 12.
Sorry, 7 of the last 12. Yep. Okay. Yep.
And the Raiders, notably are not great long-distance travellers. If they're travelling to North Queensland, if they're travelling to New Zealand, if they're travelling to Melbourne, they've not ever been flash at it. So I pencil that in against them going all the way to Vegas. I think the other things happening in the background is that the Warriors had a lot of injury last year and a lot of disruption and just didn't really build any momentum on the back of the season prior. He comes into this game where he's got basically his best 17 on the park. He's moved Metcalf to 7. He'll run the show.
I like that. I like that move.
Yeah, I do too. That then he's gone with Harris Trevita at 6. A couple of changes in the middle, but it's a nice, big, strong side. Their back 7's very good. I think that they defensively, that's where Webster will focus. It's always been his longer-term strength as a coach. But no knock on the Raiders. I'm sure they come to play. I'm sure, Ricky's all over trying to make a good impression first up. They can leak a little bit of points, but it's their first game. We're not really sure on how they or what either team is really playing. But, I'm with the Warriors. I just thought that gap was a little bit low. I was happy to take the Warriors to give up a small line. Key thing to factor in with these 2 games, it wasn't the case last year, but traditionally in round 1, we're normally seeing lower scored games in the points. I'm staying away from the points in the first few weeks. I'm just not sure what rule interpretations we're playing with, what the referees are doing, all of that sort of stuff. So I just want to see what unfolds. The points total in game 1 was 42.5. I personally thought we'll see more than that. I think there'll be a little bit of attack in this game.
Yeah, okay. So is this pack going to have enough? Are they going to get it done, led by James Fisher-Harris, Mitch Barnett? Geez, it's a strong pack. In saying that, the Raiders pack is top shelf as well. What spread do you think? What are you calling here?
I had the Warriors by 6.
Yep. Okay. This is just this is not good. We're agreeing way too much here at present.
Mate, we've got 31 weeks to get through.
Yeah, well, that's true. Righto, let's get on to the second game. I'm really looking forward to this one.
This is a cracker, isn't it?
Isn't it a cracker? Just the matchups across the park. 3:30 Sunday afternoon. We have the Panthers at $1.68. The Sharks outsiders at $2.19. No injuries to speak of. You still, if you have a look at that back line with the players that have moved on from the Panthers, you've got, Luke Garner in the centres with Tago, Casey McLean on one wing, Dylan Edwards comes back. Alamotti, who was outstanding in the grand final, takes the other wing. Jack Cole has got the jump on Blaze Talagi at 6, with Nathan Cleary's longtime halves partner moving on. Lulai to the Tigers. Nathan and Edwards, without playing a trial, back from off-season operations, straight back into the side, but we know they're good for that. You get to the forward packs, Aiden, Fanua Blake Brayley, Kafusi, Nakora, Wilton, McGuinness, up against great leader in Isaiah, Liam Martin, Scotty Sorensen's back in there, Lindsay Smith, who played for the Aussies at the end of last year, Mitch Kenny, who's your 8 out of 10 every week, Moses Leota. How does this one play out?
Yeah, it's a really good matchup, isn't it? I just thought that the Sharks just looked a little further advanced for round one than maybe the Panthers are. And Ivan's always showed in the past that Ivan's more about week after week after week building into the season toward their long-term goals. He's not necessarily in the Bellamy or the Maguire mould of being ready to go right at game one, and it's all about winning and winning and winning. And yeah, Ivan's about winning, but I'm just not sure that he's about having these guys completely pumped and on their toes. The other thing in the background with the Panthers is, they've got 4 guys across their list that had shoulder surgery in the off season. I think Liam Martin also had surgery. I think Lindsay Smith may have, or so I think there are quite a number of guys coming back from extended layoff, surgery, rehab, getting themselves ready.
They've got to be a bit rusty, haven't they? A few of those guys.
Well, yeah, potentially. And, over the last couple of years, I think they've been vulnerable in week one of the season. But I will say, the one thing that Ivan is very much about and he's built here is a very motivated side that's about winning. They'll be ready to go. But, Fitzy over the last 3 years has built a really professional approach into this side. There's a lot of continuity. There's very little change here. All they've done is just sprinkle a bit of magic dust and put big Fanua Blake up front. I mean, the guy's an Adonis. He'll just absolutely eat the yards. I think it'll give a bit of room for a couple of the other big guys that follow through on those early plays, but also for Brayley and for their 2 halves in Trindle and Hines, and a little bit of room to play. The other thing I think about the Panthers in naming the side that he has, he's moved Garner to the centres, who's traditionally a back rower. I know it's only one spot out, but I think it shows his hand that it's all about defence here. He's also gone with Cole. He just wants to keep it nice and clean. The guys that know their roles in their first game, he's starting Papali'i off the bench. He's left Talagi out for another week. It's just going with the tried and true of those that know their system on game day and playing next to each other. And really good clash, but I'm with the Sharks. I just want to be with their big men going forward. Gee, it's a big pack of forwards. You got Fanua Blake, Kafusi, then you got Talakai, you got Hamlin Ueli, and you got Hazelton. That's a really big set of rotation through the middle and a really dominant yardage game. I think they'll create a little bit of room for themselves and they can play. They'll need to. The Panthers have the wood on them. They've won 8 of the last 9 times that they've played each other. That's a very dominant record. The Sharks, though, have improved their distant travel, which 2, 3, 4 years ago wasn't that flash under Fitzy. And So I don't think that's a disadvantage. So I'm with the Sharks. I thought the plus 2.5 looked a bit of an advantage. I had them closer than that. So I'm about the Warriors into the Sharks game 1 on Sunday.
That's my multi.
There you go.
We agree again. This is not good.
No. We agree on the tip, so I didn't have money on it.
Oh, Jesus, sorry. Stand corrected. Righto. Okay. No, I agree with you. I think the Sharks can get them first week. Yep. I'm not sure that if we were 3 or 4 weeks into the season, that would be the case. I think maybe just a little bit of rust in that, maybe first 40, 50 minutes, which might, maybe the Sharks have sort of got away to a lead that they can hang on to, is my call.
Yeah. Yep.
You happy
Be
with
very
that?
good. I mean, they're saying there's 40 to 50,000 attendance rolling up.
What did they have last year?
I think it was under 40. Under 40.
Okay, righto.
I think it holds 65. So they're saying that they're already expecting over 50. I think having the 4 games is sharp. I think having the 2 English teams will bring additional supporters. It'll also beam the game back in with a bigger following back into England, I think, and that's a great matchup. You got Warrington and Wigan. That's a very good game. And then
did Sam get on the plane? Is he going to get there?
He will land in the next 24 hours. Yes.
Is that right?
Hmm.
Okay, there you
go. He's probably got better connections than you and I, Steve.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
And in between, you've got...
I'm not sure you'd get into the US, but...
I was there a few years ago.
Yeah, I don't reckon they'd let you back in.
Yeah, that's probably true. In between, we've got the Gillaroos playing the English side.
That's not a matchup, is it?
The line's 24.5. I don't think that'll cover the first half. So
no, I'm with you.
If you wanted to roll into Condo's multi, the Gillaroos to cover the line.
Okay. That I don't mind that. Let's have a look. Okay. Let's have a look. Women's International.
You know these pauses are not great on the podcast, Steve.
No, I know, but have a look at it. They're so short, it's not funny, Jared.
What's the line now?
Oh, no, I've got it. We want to go to line. Yeah, okay, righto. What have they got? What are you saying? 24.5, are you?
Oh, well, that's what it was, yes. I tell you what, it got knocked off quickly. It's out to 30.5 now.
Oh, Jesus. No, I'm not going with that. We're sticking with... No, we're not going with that. We're sticking with my... Okay, so Condo's multi for the weekend, nice and simple. I'm going to go the Warriors into the Sharks, and that is paying $3.88.
Okay. All right. Well, I got a couple of anytime try scorers just to have a little fun about the weekend.
Who do you like?
We did find Manu as an anytime try scorer in Vegas last year, didn't we?
We did.
Listen, I like Fanua Blake, $4.10.
Yes.
I tell you the other one that's going to be some value in that market will be Big Tom Hazelton.
Will he get enough? Will he get enough time on the field to score a try?
He will. And when he comes on, he's going to be playing behind some big boys that have already made a bit of room. He's $5.90. That's a sneaky little play. I think the best of the day for me, though, might be in the first game. Hudson Young on the left edge. He's just an absolute specialist try scorer, this guy. And that right edge of the Warriors has had some trouble in defence. So Hudson Young, I think, is the best of the day. Adam Fanua-Blake and maybe Tom Hazelton might be worth a little shout. But 2 good games, Stephen. Tips for the week.
So you're going to go. You like Hudson Young. You reckon he's better than. He's a better bet than Adam Fanua.
Yeah, I do. It might be a nice little all up, those two. What do you got? That's probably somewhere about $13.
Yeah.
That'll pay some wages next week.
Well, you got to get it up first.
We're all in tipping comps this year, so you've got to put your tips in on Sunday. And you've got to have all your tips in for all 8 games. So there's no just putting in the first 2 games. You've got to put them all in. And you've got to have your last man standing tips nominated. And the other key thing is, after Sunday, there's no late entries for anybody into the tipping comp. It closes Sunday morning, and what the number is the number.
Yeah, so I'm calling that we will close it at probably 10 a.m. You and I will be on the phone at 10 a.m. We might stretch it out to 10:30 if we're, at 198 entry. Oh,
we can't. We can't.
Why is that?
It's all software driven. That I
okay. Yes.
override.
Okay. So what time is close off?
It closes 5 minutes prior to kickoff.
Yeah. So it could be 10:55. Kickoff's 11 a.m.
Okay. 10 o'clock in Queensland.
Well, fucking, you're in another country. You may as well be in the US.
That's right. I'm just trying to warn our listeners.
So hang on. Okay, so let's just have a look. I'll just confirm. Yeah, so it's kick-off at 11 a.m. New South Wales time. So the cut-off, theoretically, is 10:55. So I could jump on and put in another entry to go with my other 15 entries at 10:54.
If you get it in quick enough.
Yes, I'll have it in quick enough. I'll be prepared.
So the tips, I went this way: Warriors by 6, Sharks by 4. I've already got tips lined up for next week. I've got the Broncos by 8, the Knights by 4, Dolphins by 12. That's my widest margin for the week, the Dolphins. Dragons at Cogra by 4. Eagles at Brookvale by 4.
We're going to get into a preview next week, but aren't we?
Yeah. But we're just giving some tips out because people got put tips in on Sunday.
But that's
Storm
true.
In the last game.
Okay, just on that, there's been some decent moves, hasn't there? Like the I think you mentioned it this morning. I think that you could get 7.5 start. Okay. The Dragons are still getting 5.5 start. Okay.
Was 7.5?
Yeah, it was 7.5 a week ago. Yeah. Okay, it's coming a little bit. I thought it'd come into 1.5.
No, there's actually been some big market moves.
So just nominate those ones. What have been the bigger ones? The couple of bigger ones.
Well, just quickly flying through them. The Warriors Raiders open 1.5 between them. It's now 2.5.
Yep.
Panthers Cronulla hasn't moved. Roosters Broncos, the market's flipped. It opened about even, went to 1.5. It's now 6.5. I reckon that'll start 8.5 by game time.
Broncos paying $1.43. Jeez.
Yep. Tigers Knights hasn't moved greatly. It's been pretty much 1.5 all the way through. The Dolphins Rabbitohs, that's the other one that flipped. It was plus 1.5 to the Dolphins. It's now minus 5.5 to the Dolphins. Dragons Bulldogs opened 7.5. Went to 6.5, went to 5.5 in a few places. If you shop around, you can get 6.5. I'd be taking that. Manly Cowboys has been pretty steady around.
Hang on. Did you said you'd be taking what?
I'd take 5.5.
Dragons?
Yep. I did today.
Louis, can you, I don't know, turn the volume up when you do the edit or something? Like he just said he wanted to take 5.5 the Dragons. Righto. Cowboys, Sea Eagles.
Cowboys Sea Eagles was 4.5. Now it's out to 5.5. Storm in Melbourne against the Eels was 10.5. It's back to 9.5.
Yeah. I was thinking that one might move out a bit.
So the two biggest moves have certainly been the Broncos and the Dolphins. And the one that I probably have the biggest discrepancy between my rated numbers and the market is the Dragons.
Okay, so let's just repeat. Condo's multi is I'm going Warriors into the Sharks. Anytime try scorers, Jared, you are nominating Hudson Young, Adam Fanua-Blake, and who else was it?
And a little save on Hazelton.
There you go. And get your tips in, get your entries into the comp in up till 10:55 a.m. New South Wales time Sunday. Let's get to 200 and kick this off with 8,000 big ones sitting in the pool.
Show us your tips. Is that the go?
Yeah, Monahan's dog. That's who gets my vote.
The
Right.
coach whimperer. All right, all the best.
Righto.
Have a great weekend.
See ya.